Let's do something new today, a reaction video. I've never done one of these before, so just kind of bear with me a little bit, but I really want to do it to this news story from CNBC about DeepSeek. This is unscripted. I've never done this before, but let her rip.
Got a new development around Chinese AI startup DeepSeek. It says it's now temporarily restricting who can log into its chatbot app, allowing only China-based mobile phone numbers because of large-scale malicious attacks.
I mean, any hackers could be trying to break into that. They're not going to tell you who, but it's like you have to figure that a really big country who has been known for doing government-sanctioned hacking attacks, like from their internal government hackers, is Russia. So I wouldn't be surprised if Russia just wants to steal these secrets. And you also have to figure every other random hacking group in the world would want to break into this and try to steal stuff from their website. So, just leaves 10 million questions.
American users can still use their email to sign in. Deirdre Bosa digs into the implications of its rise among U.S. consumers.
Why is that? Like, why can you use your email to sign in, but not the phone? It's just, I think they're referring to the app. The phone app is shut down, but the website was up and you could log in with your email or Google OAuth on your Google account.
For today's Tech Check ND, you were early, maybe first on this whole thing.
We knew it was big maybe a month ago, but we never imagined it would be this big a story, even moving the markets this morning. But this latest development, a potential cyber attack, it really adds to the intrigue.
Yeah, it really moved the market. Something happened with Nividia stock we'll get into, and that's obviously why CNBC is reporting this.
Surrounding this Chinese AI lab that has really upended everything we thought we knew about the race in AI, and raising the stakes because it's already been unleashed here. American users.
ChatGPT has been doing 2 years of marketing and 2 years of hyping and 2 years of people on YouTube hyping them up and influencers on X and all kinds of stuff. And DeepSeek comes in and they're just like, no, we win now. And they just took the #1 spot like that.
Have flocked to the DeepSeek app en masse. Over the weekend, I watched in disbelief as it climbed the App Store charts, landing at #1. So sometime yesterday, overtaking, guess who? ChatGPT.
And just another thing to keep in mind from my experience working in IT, server administration, having to deal with security on the side, anytime something becomes popular, it's going to get attacked. The most popular stuff gets hit the most.
Today, it's blowing up on Google Trends. Now, consumer adoption marks a fundamental shift in the AI race. Until now, much of the momentum has been developer-driven because this is an open source model. So that means that developers can use and tweak the model to suit their own needs, whether...
Yeah, so it's open source and developers can use it. And from all the developers I follow, it's been hyped up crazy. But because this has now hit the mainstream news, you have to figure a lot of regular end users are signing on to this now too. I think this is in the mainstream news like way more than OpenAI and ChatGPT right now. But here's a side note. From what I can tell from the, let's call them authorized leakers, who I get information from because they're allowed to leak stuff and I watch them in real time. And plus, just from watching interviews with Sam Altman and statements from OpenAI, they don't release their best stuff right away. They said that it would be overwhelming and also a lot of compute to just release all of their capabilities at once. So whenever OpenAI makes developments, they only release a fraction of what they actually have going on, and they slowly drip the rest of the features. They've said that. The people who represent them said that.
That's removing censorship or building entirely new applications on top of it or using its infrastructure. Still, that's something that Perplexity CEO Arvind Srinivas told me could be concerning.
What's more dangerous is they have the best open source model and all the American developers are building on that.
Right.
That's more dangerous because then they get to own the mind share, the ecosystem. If the entire American AI ecosystem, look, in general, it's known that once open source is caught up.
This was Mark Zuckerberg's whole thesis when he open sourced Llama 2 years ago. He knew this kind of thing was going to happen and he knew things would be headed in this direction. And this is the exact type of thing when he made his statements early on saying why he open sourced Llama, to do this for America so that the ecosystem for open source AI revolves around American technology.
Or improved over closed source software, all developers migrate to that.
Open source can also make it more vulnerable, potentially leading to what we are seeing this morning. And when it comes to a polished consumer-facing...
Okay, so one thing that's being left out here is since the 1990s, when I was a teenager and I first got into Linux, let's say. I've been into computers since I was a little kid because I was exposed to them really young. My grandfather sat me down in front of a DOS computer before Windows was invented in the 1980s. I was a little kid. I watched things go up to Windows, and then a friend of mine put me onto Linux when I was a teenager, and I started to see firsthand how with open source software, whenever there's a vulnerability, it gets reported out to the public, and then developers just kind of get right on top of it and start patching it up. And even before it's patched, enough information about the security vulnerability gets out there. Same thing with open source software. I've seen how open source software can get patched and fixed up without corporate bureaucracy getting in the way. So there's a degree to which I kind of get what they're saying because of which country is producing the technology that the modifications and ecosystem will revolve around. But I also know that open source software just in general makes things safer. But you have to figure that the mainstream press or legacy media, whatever you want to call them, is going to try to err on the more negative side because that keeps eyeballs on the screen.
App like DeepSeek on the App Store, this risk is amplified. Consumers receive the product as it was designed, and in this case, parameters set or censored by the Communist Party of China. Its rapid climb to #1 on the App Store suggests that millions of consumers outside of China are embracing an open source tool whose outputs are, at least to some degree, filtered and influenced by Chinese government priorities.
Okay, so this is censored if you ask it political questions, especially related to China, like Tiananmen Square, because their government doesn't allow that. So those censorship things were forcibly built in to this.
Put another way, this makes TikTok look like a warm-up act. While TikTok raised alarms over privacy and influence, DeepSeek as an AI model represents something far more profound: control over knowledge and information. And that is a whole new challenge, because this isn't just about technological superiority, but the ideological frameworks embedded, raising uncomfortable questions about how much a single government can exert over global discourse in the age of AI. Finally, guys, be sure to catch our deep dive that looks at all the nuances and implications of the rise as it continues to play out in real time, guys.
It does continue to play out in real time. I have to go to work all day, but I wake up in the morning and see what's going on. I go to work all day and I'm like, I gotta finish first, I gotta make a video. And then as soon as I'm done with that, more stuff happens right away. It's really
in markets, among developers, with consumers, and now potential cybersecurity implications.
Like I had just mentioned, there's still a lot going on. There's another video I'm planning on making because I follow industry insiders and I'm trying to look at their take on it, because their take indicates they might know stuff that is not necessarily hitting the mainstream press. I've got a lot to cover on what some big shots in the tech industry have to say about it. It might take me a minute to make the video because I have to cut up all the stuff that I clipped and do the dialogue and everything. So just bear with me on that, but there's still so much going on with this. There's stuff going on related to Nividia and the stock crash. There's all kinds of speculation and rumors about if this is somehow tied in to privacy issues. How much data are they harvesting? Is this connected to anything related to espionage? There are so many questions and so many rumors. Just hang in there. We'll get to it. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you're not subscribed, please do. I have a feeling that we have a long way to go with covering what is going to happen with DeepSeek and any other developments that happen as a result.